Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the call, one and all. Let me know where you're hearing the sound of my voice. If you're seeing the video as well, let me know. Just drop plan in the chat. Just drop plan in the chat if you're hearing the sound of my voice. Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome everybody. Plan, yeah. Let me know where you're calling in from as well. I could see we've got Netherlands in the house. We have Nigeria in the building. Welcome. We've got Southeast London. Welcome, Southeast London. Sweet, sweet TNT. The UK is here. Welcome. Welcome, Canada. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who else is here? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. All right. So, as that audio said, hey, welcome, Texas. Welcome. Welcome, Miami, Florida. As that audio says, Barbados is in the building. Welcome, Barbados. Let's get a few more folks in. Excellent. As the audio says, if you go by your feelings, and if you don't have a system to deal with your feelings, then that could only spell pretty much one thing. And this is very true, especially, hey, welcome South Africa, welcome. This is very true when it comes to trading. How many times we are, oh, I feel it's gonna go up, I feel it's gonna go down, instead of actually just following the rules of the system that we have. The 1-2 rules, the 1-2-3 rules. If we just follow the system, we'll be fine. It's actually quite simple, but as you heard as well, simple and easy are two different things. Simple things are sometimes very hard not to do. And it says the simple things that are the things that are simple to do are the things that are simple not to do. Okay? So we've got to choose, all right? You've got to make a choice. Always have a system in place to deal with our feelings. Wow, we ended off. Let me just share the screen with you here. We ended off the week on a serious winning note. We've been looking at this buy for a very, very long time. All right, it's been playing, it played around. Like on Tuesday, we had a nice push to the upside, but then for the entire rest of the week, right, had a bit of a drop down, a little push on Wednesday from the mood swing level twice, 3 times, but it didn't really go anywhere. And then Thursday, we had a massive pullback and a liquidity sweep, right? We saw a liquidity sweep below these equal lows right here. And we also had some equal lows here as well. Okay. This is Mr. Donald Trump speaking. This candle right here, Mr. Donald Trump speaking. And then we eventually got that buy we were looking for since probably Wednesday, actually. We were looking for a buy since Wednesday. it actually happened on Friday. So the market is like that. The market is going to test your patience, is going to test your resolve, is going to test your conviction in your trade idea. And as such, once we accept the trade idea and accept the risk, just let the market do what it does. Okay, we don't have any control over the market, but we have control over our system and our risk. Okay, and that is how we will be able to. Some few more folks coming in. That is how we'll be able to conquer this market. Okay, you have to yield to whatever the market is doing, but make sure that you have a system in place that protects your account. Okay, so that's why we have a system in place, so that it prevents us from leaning on our feelings within this market. So we have a few interesting things happening fundamentally in the world right now. So I will actually bring that to the fore. Okay, we do have a few things happening fundamentally. Let me see if I can. Let me just make somebody a co-host so that we can let people in while I'm sharing. Alice, you don't mind if I make you a co-host so that you could let people in? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So we have quite a few things going on in the world at the moment. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay, great. That's better. Right. So at the moment, we have that Mr. Trump, he has announced that the US officials are traveling to Pakistan for some talks to begin negotiations with Iran, because the news that we had on Friday was that the Strait of Hormuz is now open, right? And look at what happened when that news actually happened. Right? Look at what happened when that news happened. Right? The price of oil absolutely plummeted. In fact, there was a massive gap, right? So when that news happened, there was a massive gap. The Strait of Hormuz is open up, and the price of oil actually dropped. Okay. But as luck would have it, as legend would have it, the very next day, okay, the very next day, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. So with all of that happening, we could potentially start seeing the price of oil pushing back up. Again, it kind of depends on what these talks reveal. These talks between Iran and the US, okay? But that is what is affecting the price of oil at the moment. Also the price of gold as well, okay? Okay, so we have to really keep those things at the fore as we look at what is happening. Okay, let's see here. Oh my goodness. Well, that is quite interesting and very sad, because this is my country and look at what is happening there. That is crazy. I don't think that will affect the market, but I just saw that news pop up, and it actually comes up on the world news on the BBC. So that is quite strange, but there we go. All right, so this is some news here. The US prepares to negotiate for more peace talks as Trump repeats threats on Iran. So pretty much Mr. Trump is saying, Iran, if you don't open up the Strait of Hormuz, we will bomb. Yeah, that's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, we will bomb your bridges. We will bomb your energy supplies. And so forth and so forth. So Mr. Trump is really trying to put some pressure on, yeah, he's trying to put some pressure on the Iranian government to open up that Strait of Hormuz. Okay. All right. So with all those talks happening with, right, so I mean, potentially we could start seeing oil rising again, you know. It's kind of down in a zone here at the moment. So in terms of a bias, for now, I'm looking for oil prices to start rising again. In terms of an entry, there's none right. Oh, hold on. I say there's none. But we actually see in here, what do we have? Okay, no, so there's still none at the moment, right? There's none for the moment, but if we do get a 1-2 for a buy, I would look to take it. We do, right, from a technical perspective, we do have a massive gap right here, right? That price could push all the way back up into to fill, but of course, you know, this the sentiment and the fundamentals is what rules the market, right? So it doesn't necessarily even have to come all the way back up here if the talks go well with the US and Iran. So that's one to keep in mind. Okay, let's look at what's coming up in the news. Okay, so we do have economic calendar here for this week coming. And in fact, let's look at last week. First, let's look at last week. Well, April is almost done. So we could see here that we actually had some really good, so the beginning of the week, on Monday, we had some bad news, and Tuesday we had some bad news for the US dollar. And if we go back to gold, we could actually see how that actually affected, gold at the beginning of the week on Monday, right? That actually, things actually pushed to the upside Monday upside here, and Tuesday last week, right? Some upside movement because we had some negative news on gold. But then coming down in Wednesday, Thursday, right, we had some positives for the US, and therefore we saw on Wednesday and on Thursday, right, we saw that the market pulled back. Okay. All right, so we always have to understand the reasoning behind what we're looking at here. Okay, and now, yeah, Trump spoke, then the market just went into a frenzy, and we could see push to the upside. Personally, for gold, I'm looking for it to continue to the upside here as well. We do have a mood swing level here. In fact, let me just bring up a clearer chart, a cleaner chart here. All right, these were all the trade setups that we were looking at. Let's just clear this. Personally, I would love to see the market coming back down into my mood swing level down here. When it comes back up, yeah, there we go. All right, this is my mood swing level right here. You see that it is green right now, and kind of indicating to me that the momentum is to the upside at the moment. So I'm looking for a deeper retracement to this mood swing level here, and then we look for a push to the upside. All right. There we go. So for those of you who have actually started with Primeverse, there is a nice little tool that Primeverse has, and I hope that you've got it. Right. Let me just, I'll show it to you. So if you haven't started with Primeverse yet, absolutely free. Well, look at that. Wow. So this is Primeverse tool called Zona, and it marks off zones that are key levels, right? Kind of pretty much similar to the mood swing level. So this is why I like the tool that they've got as well, because it's simpler than the mood swing tool, right? But it doesn't have like fair value gaps and all of that. However, it marks off a nice zone here for you to get in on the trade. And you could see that it is pretty much similar to the zone that I have marked off right here. See it? And this is where the actual mood swing level is for our trade idea. So personally, I am going to look for a trading opportunity. All right, I'm going to look for a trading opportunity within this level, within this zone, for a move back to the upside. Okay. And this is going to be a wide zone, right? Because we had a very strong push to the upside. So we do have some gaps to fill in here. This is going to be a wide zone. So I'm just letting those people who know, if you are in Primeverse, make sure that you download that Zona software to use on your trading view as well. Okay. And if I go out to a bigger time frame, yeah. So I go to a bigger time frame, I'll be targeting this area up here, right? So if we look at this, we have quite a long way to go. That's over 2,000 pips right there that I'm targeting for a move to the upside. Okay? That's over 2,000 pips that I'm targeting for a move to the upside here. And based on how things are going in the world right now, unfortunately for people in the US, there isn't a solution just yet. All right. You know, I guess if you have citizenship somewhere else, then you could use those credentials. But if you use a VPS, or if you use a virtual private server that is located in that country or a country outside of the US, then you should be able to use that. But other than that, there is Well, that's the only solution. Okay. Of course, you could join the MOODSWING elites, which is still available for anyone around the world. Okay, so more folks coming in. So this is my trade setup here for gold. That's what I'm looking at as a zone. Continuation to the upside, and we're looking for really big. That's a really big move. We shall see. But then this is the system that we have in place. We just follow the system, follow the rules. We're not risking too much here. Right? We're not risking too much here at all. Remember, your account preservation is the #1 thing in trading, right? Account preservation is the #1 rule. Defend your account first, and then we look for attacking opportunities when they present themselves. Right? Not every day is an attacking opportunity. Right? So there's when people come in and try to over leverage their account every day. Well, that's why the account blows up. Okay. This is quite a far. That is quite a big trading setup. Okay. But we could break it down, right? We can make it a little bit smaller, but overall, this is the bigger picture that I'm looking at. Always nice to look at the bigger picture as well, because when the price starts pulling back, you know that it's just a pullback, right? So like even here last week, when we were looking at all these buys and then the market starts pulling back here, when we're looking at the bigger picture, we're always looking for buying opportunities. We know that, well, it's just a pullback that the market is doing. But overall, gold is pushing to the upside. Okay. So overall, we're looking for a buy. We're looking for price to come back into this zone here. And keep in mind that this US negotiations here is going to have some sort of effect on the market, right? Just trying to find if there's any other news. Okay. All right. So there is some news here actually. There is some news here that says that the ceasefire here. All right. So we've got that already. But there is a ceasefire in place that expires soon, and yeah, we shall see what happens there. They're actually trying to negotiate to end the war entirely. Okay. So, all right, let's go to the economic calendar and see what's coming up this week. Okay, so this week we have quite a lot for the US and the UK. UK CPI, this is inflation rate. So we want to see if things are getting any better or worse. The forecast is that it gets a little bit worse with 3.3% inflation. Okay. The previous was 3.0%. Why is inflation levels important? Because that informs the interest rate decision of the government. They would make a decision whether they want to raise the interest rate or lower the interest rate. That then informs the mood of investors as whether they want to invest in that currency or not. Okay. So that is a very important piece of information for the UK economy on Wednesday. Retail sales on Tuesday is important, right? It just tells you how much money is being spent in the economy and whether it's declining, which could potentially suggest a recession. A recession is when there are 3 months of decline consecutively, okay? That's when you know that there's a recession. So in fact, let me just have a look and see what the figures are. They should have a graph here. Okay, so it's down, it was up in the beginning of April. Okay, just use this graph here. Yeah, there we go. So it was down a bit in January, February, March, but then we start seeing a little bit of a push to the upside here, okay? So the retail sales figures are very, very much important for the US. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday with that as well. And moving on, is there anything else? Retail sales, core retail sales for the UK on Friday. All right. Initial jobless claims. So this again is it'll feed into non-farm payroll figures, but this is just showing or asking how many people are claiming benefits. Okay. This is what this figure is all about. It is forecast that the number rises. And again, the reaction to this figure on the charts will be based on whether this actual forecast here is hit or not, right? So that's one to keep in mind. So all in all, expect some action this week on gold and all those US pairs. Let's have a look at GBP USD, since that we've got the GBP in focus this week. Average earnings and bonuses. Interesting. Let's click on that. Oh no, I can't believe it. Down for maintenance, seriously? Anyways, let's go to GBP USD. So GBP USD had some positive news last week, but because the US had some even more positive news, that kind of pulled the GBP USD down. At least early on in the week anyways, it pulled it down, but then it actually recovered on Friday. It was a sharp recovery to the upside, but then it dropped again, right? So GBP USD going through all sorts of emotional roller coasters at the moment. Yeah, that's interesting. And I know, Alice, you did ask whether you think it's going to rise or not. Was expecting it to continue dropping. Yeah, that is. I mean, I don't think it's a bad pair to trade, but just because of what's happening in the world right now, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. So You just go back here. I just want to go back to last week. I want to see what happened with the pound. Okay. So manufacturing was down. And these were just speeches. Yeah. So it has a little bit of a negative stint to it right now. Yeah, that's right. As soon as Trump spoke, that affected everything with the US in it. Okay. So for the moment, let me just put this on and see what's going on. In terms of a potential trade setup, it's kind of in the middle of the ocean right now. It's pretty much sideways movement. We had sideways here. It's not really trending. So I would just leave it alone. Right. So we had sideways movement, unless you're scalping, of course. If you're scalping, then that's a different story. Then it moved to the downside a bit. We had some downside movement, but then that big upside, and then back down to the back down on the same day. So that's just crazy volatility. I would leave this one alone until we start to get some more news that will give it a sense of direction, right? So probably Tuesday, we might see something that will give us an idea of that to go. Or unless of course we see some sort of a 1-2 or 1-2-3 setup, then we could take it, but I'll be in scalping mode if that be the case, all right? Is there nothing else? Let me just make sure that all my currencies are on there. Yeah. So really nothing else major. So we keep an eye on oil. We keep an eye on the US news. We keep an eye on gold. We keep an eye on the pound. And then we could make some decisions there. Keep an eye on the news of Mr. Trump and the negotiations that the US has to end the war or to make sure that the Strait of Hormuz is reopened. At the moment, it's closed again, and that is going to cause some sort of disruption to oil supply. So I'm expecting oil to push to the upside, all right? So that be the case, we're going to wrap it up there for the minute, but we're going to keep monitoring the news. For those of you who are on the inside, we'll share these news articles with you within the MOODSWING Elite community. For those of you guys who just want to get started and get your feet wet learning the trading, we've got Primeverse. We don't have a solution for the people in the US just yet. But make sure that you're in on Primeverse. Let me just see what's going on here with Zona. All right, what does Zona tell us? All right, so Zona is saying, hey, we should be looking for more selling opportunities. Look for a pullback back into this zone right here, and look for some more selling opportunities in GBP USD. All right. Okay. So as a trade setup, Okay, as a trade setup, we'll just look at these. Now, for my trade setups, for those of you people who may be new, okay, the green are entry levels that we're looking at. Red is your account protection. The blue here is take profit target. I usually just do the ultimate take profit target first, and then I use my Fibonacci from ultimate to entry, right? Worst case scenario entry, and we'll have our take profit targets. In fact, I'll use best case take profit. Yeah, there we go. And then I use the 38.2 as a one take profit target. This is the only reason I'm using Fibonacci, by the way, is not to give me any direction or anything like that. I'm just using it for marking off where they or dividing this up to a equal enough distance for my take profit targets. That is it. Okay, and that is the only reason I'm using the Fibonacci. Now, the Zonar tool here uses Fibonacci as well, and I'll show you what it does. It literally just takes from this swing low here to this swing high right here. It marks off for you where the 61.8% level or the 79% level is in terms of potential retracements, right? So if I do my Fibonacci here, you'll see from this low, in fact, let me do it the next way around. Right, from the high to the low here, you could see just make sure that I'm going to the right low. I'm sure it's this one. Yeah, to this high right here. Right? You can see here that it marked off the 61.8% level there. And then it's really the 78.6, but they rounded up to the 79. And that zone, based on like Fibonacci retracement theory, is usually the zone in which price would come back into and go, right? So that's how the zone now works. All right. So that's a potential trade setup there on gold. But we shall see. We shall see. All right. So that's it. Let me just share the gold setup. I'll share the gold setup in the chat.
Coach, question.
Sure.
Are we to go ahead with the copy trading and Primeverse?
Yes, so Primeverse copy trading is now up and running. Do we have Lizanne on the call at all? Lizanne, are you on the call? I don't know. Cliff, you on the call? I see Cliff. Cliff, is Lizanne there with you? Oh, so somebody was asking whether Zona could be placed on your trading view. Yes. Zona could be placed on your trading view. Just when you log in to the let me see if I can bring it up. Prime this. Hold on 2 seconds. Right. So right down here where you see when you get into Primeverse and you click on Zona right here, click on Zona. Right here, it shows you what to do to be able to download Zona. You could click right here to apply for access. They will check to make sure that you have the right to have Zona, but it shows you how to set things up. There's tutorials here on how to use it. Pretty awesome. All right.
Thank you, Coach.
All-in-one indicator designed to simplify your trading and help you see the market the way institutions do. Zonar automatically analyzes higher time frame structure to identify the true market trend. It highlights key swing highs, swing lows, and shows you whether the higher time frame bias is bullish or bearish, so you always know what side of the market to be on. It then plots the optimal trade entry zone using Fibonacci retracements between 61.8 and 79%, showing you exactly where high probability entries occur. Next, Sonar detects and marks institutional order blocks, mitigation blocks, and fair value gaps, revealing the footprints left behind by smart money. Each zone updates dynamically and fades once it's mitigated, keeping your chart clean and focused. When a valid setup forms, Sonar projects a complete trade idea, entry, stop loss, and take profit levels with 1 to 3 risk to reward targets, giving you a structured, mechanical framework to trade with confidence. Whether you're a price action trader or learning smart money concepts, Sonar eliminates the guesswork and brings structure, precision, and clarity to your charts. Sonar. Trade like smart money. Zonar.
All right. Somebody was asking. So this is where you go to get it. Norbert. Okay. This is where you go to get it. Now the next thing too. Somebody was asking. Is the copy trader the same as
380493? Thank you, Coach.
yeah, if the copy trader is the same thing as so prime versus copy trader is different to MOODSWING's copy trader. It's different, right? But again, this is Prime Sync, so you could go here, Prime Sync, and it shows you what you need to do. Get started, you could sign in, and you just link your account to that as well if you want. Okay. And again, there is a course that shows you how to do that as well. All right, remember this is all free. Prime Sync, they'll be hitting what, between 3 to 5% growth per month. Right, so it's nice and steady, nothing too crazy, but it gives you, let me tell you something. If you put your money in the S&P 500, you're looking at probably 15% growth per year, right? Now, if you're able to compound your money, let's do some mathematics here. Let me see if I have my compounding calculator. This one here. Oh, geez, I need to come off and jump on a call bit in a minute. All right, so let's say we started with 1,000 and you're hitting let's say 4% per month, right? And we want to do that for a year. Calculate. Literally, 4% per month equates to 60% per year in compounding, as opposed to buying the S&P 500 and you'll get an average of, 10 to 15% for the year. This is 60% for the year. So, don't neglect small gains compounded over time, right? If you compound that again over a 5-year period, then you're looking at 900 and something % growth on your account, right? And so if you just decide to, I just want to put my money there and leave it, and at the end of the day, it's free, right? So don't neglect it, right? Don't neglect it. What's the minimum deposit? I say, but put something that is decent, that you could see the growth. I generally recommend put 1,000 in there, if you can. But if not, then, you know, don't sweat it. If you were on, yeah, oh, okay, they say 1,000. Yeah. If you can, or if you remember on the call that we had, they started with 300,000 in January, oh, sorry, in 2020 sometime. And with that steady growth, the account is now over 3 million. Okay. That's the power of compounding. So don't neglect compounding at all. Okay. Don't neglect compounding. Okay. I've got to run. Got a meeting starting in 2 minutes time, but fantastic to have you guys on the call as well. And we will see you guys really, really soon. Bye-bye for now.